Lots of hoaxes surrounding the DC air disaster, along with the usual roundup of scams, fake quotes and misunderstood satire.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Knot, a show about what didn't happen today. My name is Artificial and my jokes are mostly powered by ChatGPT.
And I'm Body McBotface. Most of what I know comes from fact checks published by Lead Stories.
Let's get started. What can you tell me about this, Body? Does a post warning of a dangerous Hispanic couple who purportedly killed 3 female police officers describe a real situation?
No, that's not true. There is no recent crime involving a couple who killed 3 female police officers. The 2 photos in this post are real people, but they are not a couple. The woman pictured is currently serving a 40-year prison term in Texas for a 2012 murder to which she pleaded guilty.
Is that all you know? Or is there more?
The man pictured is wanted by the Roswell, Georgia, Police Department in connection with the murder of a woman identified as the man's girlfriend. The fake story is an example of a bait-and-switch scam that begins by tricking people into sharing a post that will then be edited to become an ad.
It looks like this post is more of a bait-and-switch than a real crime story. Remember folks, before you hit that share button, a quick Google search can save you from spreading misinformation. Here's another question for you. Did the Black Hawk helicopter involved in the fatal plane crash at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport on January 29, 2025, have a senior military official on board?
No, that's not true. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth stated that the helicopter involved in the collision over the Potomac River was conducting annual retraining for a continuity of government mission that would be set into action in the event of a national emergency.
Do go on.
If this had been an actual continuity of government mission, not a training flight, there would have been a high-ranking military official in the helicopter.
It's always a good idea to double-check the details before sharing news like this, especially when it involves helicopters and government missions. You never know what might be flying around out there. One more question for you to answer. Did a Black Hawk helicopter fail to respond to warnings seconds before colliding with a civilian airliner that was preparing to land at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport on January 29, 2025?
No, that's not true. Air traffic control audio archives show the helicopter crew acknowledged 2 advisories from air traffic controllers to avoid the oncoming aircraft.
Can you explain that to me like I was 5?
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy confirmed there was communication between the aircraft and the tower.
It looks like we need to remember that not everything we hear is the whole story. Always check the details before hitting that share button. I saw this online somewhere. What do you know about it? Did President Donald Trump fire 3,000 air traffic controllers 1 week before the fatal American Airlines Flight 5342 collision with a military helicopter?
No, that's not true. There is no evidence that that number of air traffic controllers were fired 8 days before the January 29, 2025 collision in Washington, D.C.
That is new information for me.
Trump did direct the head of the Federal Aviation Administration to end day hiring programs, but did not order the firing of 3,000 air traffic controllers.
Looks like someone needs to double-check their sources before hitting that share button. It's always a good idea to verify before you amplify. Do you have any information on this question? Did actor Mark Wahlberg say teachers who remove American flags from classrooms should be fired?
No, that's not true. A representative for Wahlberg denied it.
Good you looked into it.
A social media post saying he made the statement didn't cite any credible evidence proving he did.
Looks like Mark Wahlberg's not waving the flag on that one. Remember, folks, if you see something wild online, it's always a good idea to check the source before hitting that share button. Hey Body, I heard you looked into this? Does flight path data on a map prove that Flight 5342 suddenly reversed direction before fatally crashing into the Potomac River?
No, that's not true. The reversal shown in a clip streamed by global flight tracking service Flight Radar 24 was due to a jump in data.
Is there more info?
That was caused by the program switching between data sources, a company spokesperson told Lead Stories.
Looks like that flight path was more of a detour than a dramatic reversal. Reminds me to always check my GPS before taking off. Is this really a thing? Does an authentic photo show firefighters standing on a plane floating in a river while surrounded by boats and cars after a January 2025 plane crash in Washington?
No, that's not true. A specialized detection tool showed the image was generated using artificial intelligence.
Gee, who would have thought?
Several details in the image, like cars sitting on top of the water and missing engines on the plane, also pointed towards an AI origin.
Looks like that photo is more fiction than fact. Remember folks, if it looks like a duck but has no engines, it might just be an AI creation. Okay, what about this one? Was the military helicopter involved in the plane crash at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport on January 29, 2025, flying dark, as it was supposed to be broadcasting with an ADS-B transponder signal?
No, that's not true. While the Black Hawk helicopter was not using ADS-B, it was still operating properly within the airspace, according to flight data and to an aviation expert.
I should have known that.
That expert told Lead Stories that the helicopter was equipped with a Mode S transponder, which made it visible to air traffic controllers.
Looks like that helicopter was just playing hide and seek with the ADS-B. Always a good reminder to check your sources before you take off with a story. Can you explain this for me? Was the helicopter involved in the mid-air collision near Washington, D.C., on January 29, 2025, a police helicopter?
No, that's not true. Local police refuted the claim shortly after the crash.
What else do you know?
According to the U.S. Department of Defense, the helicopter that collided with a civilian plane was operated by the U.S. military.
Looks like we need to double-check our sources before taking off with a story. Sometimes the truth is just a flight plan away. I'm probably not the only one online asking about the next thing. Did ICE announce it was pausing a hotline to report undocumented immigrants because 90% of the calls were people reporting Elon Musk?
No, that's not true. That claim originated on a satirical X account named The Halfway Post.
What else have you found?
The ICE website still lists the number 1866-DHS2 ICE to report suspicious activity, and it currently shows no statements or news releases about pausing the number.
It looks like some folks took satire a bit too seriously. Remember, if it sounds outrageous, a quick Google search might save you from sharing a laugh that's not quite real. That's all folks.
Please like, share and follow.